last time on Island ADV.
So we have finally hit the dirt in Quebec. We've been into the rain quite a bit, and I'll tell you, it's definitely taken a notch out of my gear. Whoa, man. Awesome. This is what I was hoping for. This is what I was hoping for.
Salut tout le monde et bonjour encore à Quebec, and welcome back to another episode of our Big Trip series, Song of the Siren. We pick it up again on the Trans Quebec Trail here today as we're at the back end of our day 2. But the objective right away quick is to get into camp, because we have been riding on this trail all day long. Luckily, the Trans Quebec Trail offers these little down legs that'll take you back into civilization, and we're going to take advantage of that and head down to the beautiful park here that we found in Grand Pablo West, where we found a really cool beach wild camp. However, things were definitely not as easy as we had planned them, and we were about to find out that getting to that wild beach camp was going to be a lot more difficult than we had planned on.
All right, so we are here at Camping before, and we had an amazing day pretty much of just riding that Trans Quebec Trail. But the thing with the Trans Quebec Trail is it has these little green lines. They're like dropout points where you can come into civilization, and that's basically what we did here at Chaude Lake. And we have our campsite up that way, but there's a catch. We can't camp at the site. We have to drop the bikes and haul the gear into camp. It is a wild camp, that's what they call it. And site sauvage, so it makes sense a little bit, but I didn't know that. But we got wood being delivered, we got supplies, so we're looking for spot 3 now. I'm thinking I'm going to drop the machine here, and I'm just going to go recce the campsite real quick. Hang tight here. I'll stay on the comms and I'll let you know how she goes. I smell campfires. It's a gigantic treehouse. Do not know if this is the location. I found it. That's not too bad. It is a little bit of a hike, but it's not bad. All right. Oh man, so sorry about this. So I'm gonna drop my luggage entirely. It makes the most sense.
Despite having to cart the luggage into the site and leaving the bikes behind, it was a beautiful campsite, a beautiful beach wild camp, exactly what was described on the camp website. But I'll say this, the minute I got into the camp and to the reception, I was reminded real quick of one major important thing about Quebec. Il faut que tu parles français si tu séjours dans le Québec. Et avec ça, j'ai juste parlé avec la mademoiselle à la réception et elle m'a dit que les motocyclettes sont interdites sur la plage. Alors, on a resté ici, sans motocyclette, mais avec un bon feu. But despite my French not being that great, I still wanted to try. And I think there was a lot of times on this trip that even trying to speak French made things a lot easier for both of us.
So, sleep review, the first. It was a good sleep, for sure. The pillow I found, I underinflated it a little bit, so it'd be a little bit more cushiony, and it was quite nice. The bed mat was excellent. Yesterday was a really good opportunity for us to dry out all the kit that got swamped, basically. My boots are still struggling, but I put some paper towel in them and it kind of like made it a little bit better there. So now I've got my socks, and then I have my waterproof socks over top of them, and it feels good. So hopefully this will last throughout the day and be okay. I anticipate that it will. It should be fine. But I have to get everything packed up back in my luggage and then re-rack my luggage, which is going to be a longer process, but that's okay, because from here on out, the ride days are much shorter. When I plan out one of these adventures, I usually think about my ride time based on what Google Maps is going to tell me, and then I add some sort of like trail multiplier to it. So in most cases, my trail multiplier is like, 40%, believe it or not. So, and that's what I come up with for the amount of time to ride. We like to keep the ride days below 8 hours as much as we can. Usually goes up a little bit more, when we're on our way home or when we're on our first leg in. So like our first leg in was like probably an 8-hour ride day. And our last leg out back home to Prince Edward Island will also be the same kind of thing. But today is a 5. Tomorrow, I think is 6. And the day after that is like 4. So it's very, light. Part of me is a little bit conflicted with that because I feel like we're not riding enough. You know what I mean? But we got to start taking into consideration our stamina to be doing this every single day. If we start pushing ourselves the way we pushed ourselves on day 1 every single day, we're going to have like health problems. Anyway, the plan for today is to get to Gaspé. From there, we'll hook up with the Trans Quebec Trail, and we'll see where that takes us. I'll pick you up when we get on the road. All right, folks, we are out of Pabo, and we're making our way along Route 132 towards Gaspé, the actual, town of Gaspé. And man, I'm enjoying the right side ocean view a little bit. And once the old Google Maps is telling me to take a left here, but I think I want to keep pushing right, so I think I'm gonna kind of ignore that and see where it takes us. We got lots of fuel, we got lots of range, we're doing fine. But the goal today now is just to get a little bit of a bite to eat in Gaspé. We're about an hour or so out, and then from there we're gonna hook back onto the Trans Quebec Trail. Now the trick with that one is we're gonna need A, full tanks for sure, and B, the wild camp that we have up in the mountains, it's not 100%, that's for sure too, but it might come down to us having to just poke around and finding a hole in the woods. We were really spoiled with that first wild camp, and yeah. So I'm just trying to pick you up here in between the rain, because as you can tell, sorry for the lens being garbage. If it's, oh man, that's so cool looking over there. But like, sorry if the lens has got a bunch of droplets on it, but we're just in between rain. You can see it's over there, it's blue sky. Over there, it's like a nightmare. But we did luck out. We were expecting to wake up in that camp with rain just coming down. So, we planned ahead. We built that really cool shelter with the big wood tarp and such. We were able to make some coffee in the morning. We were, from when I was chatting with you, but it didn't rain. The most annoying thing I think today has been just having to re-rack this Tux luggage. I mean, I love the Tux luggage. You hear me talking about it all the time, but man, no man, it's gonna take forever to just rack that stuff. Holy smokes. Anyway, we're starting to get into some really cool views. I don't know if you can see all those mountains over there, folks. That's the kind of stuff that we're gonna get up into today again, just like yesterday. I can't wait.
Not taking that left turn was a great idea, because we started to see some really cool rock structures poking out from the horizons as we were cruising around through this coastal run. And it brought us to a place called Persay, a really beautiful community that showed off this amazing rock feature out in the middle of the water. It was just so cool, I knew I had to get closer to it. So we kept pushing to try to get as close as we could. I wanted so bad to be able to get out there close to the lighthouse that was nearby and fly a drone over it, but I just couldn't put it together. But man, was it ever pretty. The community was really awesome too. Just a nice small community that reminded me a bit of home. But what came next, I couldn't believe. Probably one of the most beautiful sights I'd seen on the entire trip. And it's a good thing the audio wasn't working because man, I was losing my mind when I came around this turn right here and just saw this huge rock wall. There was definitely no shortage of vertigo too as I was looking over to my right side and seeing just how dramatically it dropped down into the water. It was just all so beautiful that day. And it reminded me that A, this trip was definitely a good idea, and B, that this is the Gaspe Peninsula.